Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's get into the Word of God. Once again, we are going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13 as we continue our series on the word charity, which also means love, and the description that God has in the Bible of what is expected and commanded of us. So 1 Corinthians 13, this time we're going to look at the last part of verse number 4. We've already discussed the other parts in the past couple days. Verse 4, on the second half of that verse, it says, "Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up." That word vaunt, to vaunt, it means to brag or to basically puff yourself up, brag on yourself out of vanity, to be vain, So charity vaunteth not itself and is not puffed up. And of course, puffed up, if you can imagine, puffing yourself up to bring more attention to yourself, right? With the advent of social media, I really think our society has just gone down the tubes. And the biggest reason, I think, the biggest effect that social media has had on people is that social media now gives everybody a platform to brag on themselves. See, when I was a kid, it's like you were either famous or you were not. Right? It's like, okay, oh, you're on TV or you're on the radio. And if you're not on any of those things, or you're on stage, Broadway, whatever. If you're not on any of those things, then you don't have as much of a platform, right? Of course, television, radio being the biggest platform. But now with social media, everybody is given a platform that they can instantly present to the world, right? And then what do? Do they use it to help end hunger? Do they use it to help the homeless? Do they use it to help people who are addicted to alcohol and drugs to recover and get better? What does the world predominantly use social media for? To dance in front of it, to sing in front of it, to brag about their life, to brag about themselves, to puff themselves up, to vaunt themselves. I mean, how many gym photos and videos are there out in social media, right? And I remember one day scrolling through Facebook, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I guess I never really paid much attention to it because, I do value the connections that I was able to make on social media. People from around the world that I wouldn't otherwise have, any communication or connection with, missionaries in the other side of the planet, But so much of my feed really was just people bragging on themselves, and that is what our society has become. And it's no wonder that there's a lack of love in our culture right now, because love doesn't behave that way. Love does not brag on itself. That is not loving. That is not a loving way to act or behave when you try to convince people about how beautiful you are, or beautiful you were back in the day, or whatever, or how talented you are or were, or all these things that you accomplished. And puffing oneself up is not a loving way to behave, and that's biblical. So when you see these celebrities that pretend to care, they don't care. There is not an ounce of love or charity in their hearts. They are all about themselves, which is why, look at this big controversy going on right now, where in Los Angeles there is a mask mandate to where children have to wear masks. The lowest risk of getting COVID and getting harmed from COVID, the lowest risk, children have to wear masks to go to school. And yet they just had the Super Bowl in Los Angeles, and not a single celebrity was wearing a mask. But yet they'll get on social media and talk about, the children, protect the children, they must wear masks. We all have to wear masks, do our part. Then why aren't they doing theirs? I'll tell you why. Because they're selfish. It's never been about the children. It's always been about themselves. Charity vaunteth not itself. I'm going to stop right there. Thank you so much for joining me today. God bless you. Let's live in humility and live in charity because God is love. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day. Bye-bye.